When U.S. law enforcement encounters a major accident, what will be the consequences? Hello everyone, I am Depeng. Today's first case occurred in Seattle, Washington. On the evening of January 23, Lanchenling Arsasan, Seattle police officer Kevin Dave was dispatched to handle an overdose case involving American herbal medicine. According to the department's internal severity grading, an overdose is an emergency, so Officer Kevin sped toward the target. This is butter. He only slowed down at the red light, then accelerated again after ensuring no oncoming traffic. He continuously reported his status to dispatch. However, at that moment, the unexpected happened. The officer's vehicle was traveling at 74 miles per hour, which is 119 kilometers per hour. Just then, a figure suddenly appeared at the intersection ahead. Just 1 second later, the vehicle collided with the person. In such a short time, the officer had no time to react at all. Dispatch. Request a supervisor on scene. I hit a pedestrian. After the collision, the officer remained calm, requesting medical support from dispatch. Here, you can see the patrol cars. Windshield is already shattered. The person who was hit was thrown dozens of meters away. The officer quickly got out of the car to provide emergency medical aid. Hey, confirm. Officer is okay. Afterward, backup units arrived, took over the scene, and began emergency treatment for the injured. Officer Kevin reported the situation to the supervisor, who arrived on scene. Are you okay? No. Okay, bro. I'm not okay at all. She was in the crosswalk. She saw me. She started running across the crosswalk. I slammed the brakes. She didn't stay on the curb. As the adrenaline faded, during his report, Kevin gradually broke down, unable to continue. Come on, buddy. It's okay. It'll be all right. Although severely injured, Kevin could distinguish while providing aid that he had hit a very young girl. I can't do anything now. This feels terrible. In the end, the girl who was hit did not survive. She died at the scene. Officer Kevin was placed on administrative leave for critical incidents. Police confirmed her identity using the identification found on the girl. She was 23-year-old Indian international student, Janvi Kandula. Janvi belonged to the Kama caste from Andhra Pradesh, India, making her a high caste person with high social status. However, due to her father passing away early, Janvi's family situation was not very good. She was raised solely by her mother, a teacher at a public school. Janvi studied very hard. After graduating from college, in order to change her family's situation, she paid high tuition fees and applied to study information systems at Northeastern University's Seattle campus, Arosla, hoping to work for tech giants like Amazon, Microsoft, or Google after graduation. But unexpectedly, she encountered this tragedy in her second year of graduate school. Since Janvi was thrown 40 meters, there weren't many valuable organs left in her body. So fortunately, she did not become raw material. On January 30, Lanchenling Arsasan, Janvi's remains were transported back to India with the assistance of multiple parties, awaiting investigation of the case. In February 2024, the local prosecutor confirmed that, although Officer Kevin was traveling at 119 kilometers per hour, the officer was executing an emergency task and had the right to speed. Janvi was crossing the road wearing headphones, causing her attention to be diverted. Given that both parties held responsibility, considering department policy, the prosecutor decided not to file charges against Officer Kevin. Instead, Kevin was issued this $5 second-degree negligent driving traffic ticket. As for Janvi, the police would pay her family a sum through the vehicle's third-party liability insurance. They hoped to reach a settlement quickly, although such a light penalty caused protests among the Indian international student community at the time. It was unlikely they could influence the final outcome of the case because the police insurance coverage was high. Janvi's family would receive a substantial compensation and were inclined toward a settlement. A tragedy might be settled here, illustrating how important it is to have insurance. A couple of days ago, Depeng's car was rear-ended. The other party was at fault, but the driver didn't panic when getting out. One call, and the insurance company handled everything. Claims processing was extremely fast. Life is full of surprises. Comprehensive insurance provides the confidence for unforeseen events. In the blink of an eye, several months passed, and Janvi's death case gradually faded from memory. But unexpectedly, on September 11th, Lanchenling Arsasan, the Seattle Police Department suddenly released information regarding the Janvi death case, specifically Bodycam footage, from the supervisor, Sergeant Daniel O'Redder. who was responsible for evaluating Officer Kevin's compliance at the time. After confirming Kevin was not driving under the influence, Daniel began driving back to the precinct and reported the situation to the chief. He had no idea at that moment what absurd consequences that phone call would bring. He was driving almost 50 miles per hour fast. That's not out of control for a driver. That's not reckless. But she's dead. Oh yeah, just write a check. What? Shi Meiyuan. Lin Ning? She was 26. Her value is limited. Oh wow. It turns out that in Daniel's eyes, the life of an Indian international student was so worthless. After saying that, Lieutenant Daniel suddenly realized his body cam was still recording, so he quickly turned it off. In reality, what Lieutenant Daniel just said would not have any impact on him. He said it, and it was over. Furthermore, months had passed, and everyone had almost forgotten about it. However, unexpectedly, in June, when a Seattle civilian employee was conducting an audit of body cam footage, this video recording was discovered. This employee felt the content violated basic professional conduct and reported it to the police department's Office of Accountability. The Seattle police chief was stunned upon learning about this video. If the media or civil rights groups find this, the entire department will definitely suffer severe consequences, rather than having it exposed by others. The chief decided to release it himself, shifting all blame onto Daniel. After this video was released, it instantly ignited the fury of Indians worldwide. The Indian government personally intervened, with its consulate general in San Francisco issuing a statement, fiercely criticizing the Seattle police for racial discrimination and contempt for life, demanding the Washington state government take immediate action and severely punish the officers involved. Simultaneously, protests and rallies supporting John V. and opposing American police erupted in many places, facing pressure from Indians worldwide. After months of unsuccessful negotiations, in May 2024, the new police chief, Bruce Hargreaves, took office and immediately fired Sergeant Daniel, hoping to alleviate external pressure. But 2 months later, after all evidence was collected, John V's mother, with the support of the Indian government, formally sued the Seattle Police Department, Sergeant Daniel, and Officer Kevin, 200 counts of illegal enforcement, murder, and racial discrimination, demanding $110 million plus $11 0 inches damages. Wushalo. While the Seattle city government was struggling, the fired Sergeant Daniel, the loser, eats dust, sued the city of Seattle, the Seattle Police Department, and several involved officers for wrongful termination, demanding $25 million and demanding reinstatement to the force. Daniel argued that the controversial recording was a statement made during his private conversation, belonging to his personal privacy, and constituted sarcastic dark humor, rather than an official enforcement attitude. As the vice president of the police union, he had many rivals who illegally disclosed the recording to suppress him. Furthermore, the dismissed police chief, Adrian Diaz, also testified that the mayor forced him to make Daniel take the fall and fire him. After Adrian refused, the mayor removed him from office and appointed a new chief to carry out the firing. Daniel stated that, since the video went public, he had suffered cyberbullying and reputational damage. He couldn't find a job. I'll be executed sooner or later. So he could only save himself through legal means. A series of shocking scandals made the Seattle government a target of public criticism. On January 6, the Seattle Police Department overturned its previous review findings and officially fired the responsible officer, Kevin Dave, while announcing they would reach a settlement with John V's family as soon as possible. The settlement amount could potentially break compensation records in the American police world. After watching how the American police angered Indians, let's look at a more abstract case, with a crazy reversal almost comparable to a movie. Officer Jose Mendoza of the Carnegie County Sheriff's Office in Oklahoma found a Dodge Charger without license plates while on patrol. Subsequently, Officer Jose activated his lights to signal the other party to stop. Apparently, the other party didn't want the final freedom. He saw the officer and obediently pulled over. Warning, I am Officer Jose. Can you cooperate? The reason I stopped you is, your vehicle has no tags. Okay, officer. Do you have a reason? Yes, officer. After getting the documents, the officer verified the owner's information in the system. About 13 minutes later, all data was transmitted back. The officer then confirmed that the driver of this vehicle was 16-year-old high school student Mason Tritt. His background was very clean, with no warrants on him. This Dodge was newly purchased, which is why it had no plates. The insurance information also matched the vehicle. So Officer Jose prepared to give Mason a warning and let him go. However, at that moment, the unexpected occurred. Oh, okay. I'm telling you, I was going to give you a written warning. But I thought about it and decided against it. I don't want you to have it. While Officer Jose was speaking, a white pickup truck sped toward the two at an astonishing speed. The brand new Charger was instantly crushed. Officer Jose was thrown out, spinning 360 degrees in the air. Both vehicles finally stopped after hitting the median barrier. The condition of everyone at the scene was unknown. 1 minute later, Officer Jose regained some consciousness, barely breathing, and requested backup from dispatch. Major accident, requesting medical support. The driver of the white pickup truck also crawled out of the wrecked vehicle. 3 minutes later, Officer Jose managed to turn over, although his consciousness was gradually clearing. The intense pain made the officer wish he could just pass out. 4 minutes after the incident, an officer from the Ohio State Highway Patrol arrived at the scene. But because they didn't know Officer Jose's condition, the backup units dared not act rashly. They could only grab a towel to elevate Officer Jose's head first. At this time, Officer Jose indicated there were people in the other car, asking colleagues to check on them. But unexpectedly, how are the people in the car? I don't care about them. 8 minutes after the incident, more backup units arrived. Rescue efforts were still prioritized for Officer Jose. After handing the colleague over to the paramedics, all officers went to check the condition of the accident vehicles. By this time, the personnel in the white pickup truck had climbed out, seemingly without serious injuries. When the officers saw the Dodge owner, Mason, his gruesome state made the officers gasp in horror. Driver critically injured. Transfer immediately. 40 fractures or compound fractures throughout his body. To save his life, police dispatched a helicopter to send him to the hospital. Afterward, the officer underwent 13 more surgeries. Jose's life was saved. His life was saved. The entire rescue process captured the hearts of the entire state of Oklahoma. People prayed and donated for this hero. During his coma, Officer Jose said one thing: "I will not die today. I must go home." This made the officer a symbol of toughness. And under everyone's encouragement, Jose recovered quickly. In this case, the Dodge driver, Mason, was the most severely injured. The collision caused Mason severe cerebral hemorrhage, splenic rupture, multiple rib fractures, and a collapsed lung, leaving him in a near-death coma. He stayed in the ICU for over 10 days. Just the emergency medical costs exceeded $2 million. The at-fault driver Brian's insurance payout limit was only $500. This meant the remaining millions of dollars would have to be paid by Brian himself. Even if Brian sold his entire family into servitude, he couldn't raise that much money. It can be said that, if Mason were an ordinary person, foes conned, Brian and the families behind them would have been finished. Just as people felt sorry for this young man and lamented the capriciousness of fate, the Oklahoma state government and the two involved police chiefs were crying, how is this Mason an ordinary kid? This bastard is Oklahoma's most powerful young master. His father is the #1 power broker in Oklahoma. The #1 figure in the legislative field, Senate Pro Tempore, Greg Tritt. His wife, Marisa Tritt, is the Oklahoma County Clerk, controlling all assets, household registration data, and real estate deeds for the state's most populous county, as well as the disbursement of government employee salaries. The Tritt family used their terrifying connections to mobilize the best medical resources. After 20 days of ICU rescue, they literally snatched their son back from the jaws of death. But after waking up, Mason's brain suffered irreversible damage and required lifelong medical rehabilitation assistance. The enraged father vowed to make everyone pay the price. The first step of retaliation was pushing legislation directly. Greg passed the Mason Tritt Act in the legislature with a unanimous 43-0 vote within a year, mandating that vehicle sales information be synchronized to the statewide database by the vehicle dealer within 24 hours, except in special circumstances. No officer shall unilaterally investigate newly acquired, unlicensed vehicles to prevent similar tragedies in the future. In September 2024, Greg's term ended, and he stepped down as Speaker, but Tritt promoted and appointed the current chairpersons of all key committees in the Senate. At the same time, Greg also founded the Oklahoma People's Health Partnership Organization, integrating the lobbying power of medical organizations across the state. After completing all this, on September 25, the Tritt family formally sued Officer Jose Mendoza, the Carnegie County Sheriff's Office, the Oklahoma State Government, the Oklahoma State Highway Patrol, the at-fault driver Brian Stone, and Brian's vehicle insurance company, initiating the largest lawsuit in Oklahoma history. Demanding $10 million, Greg argued that the officer stopped him for 14 full minutes on a highway with a speed limit of 70 miles per hour. In such a dangerous zone, every extra minute spent stopped increased the probability of being hit geometrically. This was the fundamental reason why his son Mason was almost killed by the collision. Furthermore, the on-scene backup officer's disregard for the injured driver's rescue was also one of the fundamental reasons his son missed the best chance for rescue and almost died. Oh yes, regarding the Tritt family's accusations, police stated that Officer Jose's enforcement was standard procedure, legal and compliant. Moreover, Officer Jose nearly died in the line of duty. A is a hero, not the key cause of Mason's disability. Regarding this statement, Greg said that was not necessarily true. After 1 year of arduous recovery, Officer Jose miraculously recovered and returned to work. His legendary experience made it almost certain that this heroic officer would receive the Best Police Officer Award. However, unexpectedly, things quickly took a stunning turn. 1 month after the lawsuit was filed, the Carnegie County Sheriff's Office conducted its annual evidence vault inventory and discovered serious discrepancies between administrative records and vault inventory in multiple drug cases handled by Officer Jose. After investigation, Officer Jose had intercepted parts of the Fanta and iced Americanos seized during several stops, claiming they were sent to the lab for testing, but the lab never received them. This huge reversal silenced the public who had supported Officer Jose. Subsequently, the Tritt family supplemented the evidence, arguing that Officer Jose's prolonged stop time for Mason's interception was an attempt at entrapment to obtain drugs that weren't even in the car for personal enrichment. In November 2025, after confirming Officer Jose's actual misconduct, the Carnegie County Sheriff's Office officially fired Officer Jose and placed him on the Brady disqualifying list. This means any testimony he provides in any future criminal case will be deemed unreliable. With this, the Tritt family's chance of winning reached an astonishing over 90%. Reaching a massive settlement was only a matter of time. Although the Tritt family's lawsuit against the police is still ongoing, the outcome is destined to have nothing to do with Officer Jose. Having crossed the execution line, he might not even live to see the settlement day. You might not imagine how quickly American police can go from middle class to the execution line to having their entire family vanish from Earth. 1 click, 3 likes. Next time, Da Peng will show you the entire process of an American police officer being executed.